Hello everybody, it's lovely to be able to talk to you again. Before we look at today's Bible story, I'd like you to have a think about what you would choose to take with you if you had to flee your house. If you had to leave quickly and you could just grab a few things to take with you, what would you choose? Maybe you choose a special cuddly toy. Perhaps a favourite book to read. Maybe something special because somebody's given it to you, that it's special. Or maybe something that you've won. Would it be difficult to choose if you were only allowed a few things to pack into a small bag, or you've got to decide really quickly? I'd find it really hard. I'd be thinking about what I was leaving behind. What would I need? Would I need food? Should I take clean clothes? A blanket? A torch? It's so hard to think of leaving so many things behind. Part of me feels sad because I would miss everything, and another part of me feels scared. What if I needed something that I left? What if I got really cold and I didn't have anything to keep me warm? Thankfully, though, we don't have to make those choices. But in today's Bible story, there are some people who left everything behind to follow Jesus. I mean everything. And speaking of everything, every time you hear that word, I'd like you to make a surprised or a shocked face. Can you do that? Let's see if you can catch them all. I'll tell you at the end how many there were. Are you ready? Right after Jesus was baptised, he began his ministry, and he chose some men to come with him as he travelled and preached. There were 12 of them, and we know them as the 12 apostles or the 12 disciples. You might think those guys were special somehow, like maybe they had everything in the Bible memorised, or they spent more time praying than sleeping. But the truth is, they were just regular people like us. They sinned just like we do. They weren't perfect. And they didn't do anything to deserve travelling with Jesus and becoming one of his disciples. But they did do one thing that made them kind of special. They dropped everything. The first two men Jesus called were actually brothers, Simon and Andrew. Simon and Andrew were fishermen, so they spent their days out in the Sea of Galilee together, casting their nets and catching their fish. Fishing was very important in two ways. Firstly, it provided them with food to eat. I'm sure they sometimes wish they could eat something else for dinner, but at least they wouldn't starve. Secondly, it provided with money. Any fish they didn't eat, they could sell at a market. Then they could have money to buy food, clothes, fishing supplies, and everything else that might pop up. Excuse me. So, for Simon and Andrew, fishing was everything. It took up all their time and provided them with everything they needed to survive. But remember what I said, they dropped everything. Jesus saw them casting their nets and called out to them, "Come, follow me, and I will send you out to fish for people." It says in the New Testament, in the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 17. And they did. They left their nets, they left their fish, their home, their friends, their money. Simon and Andrew dropped everything to follow after Jesus. But that's not all. Just a little while later, Jesus saw another group of fishermen out in a boat. They were brothers named James and John, fishing with their father. Jesus called out to the brothers, and immediately they left, leaving everything behind, including their father. James and John dropped everything to follow Jesus. I can't imagine what it must have felt like for them, leaving everything and everyone they knew, including their dad, to follow a stranger. We are blessed that we don't have to drop everything in order to follow Jesus. We still have homes, toys, money, refrigerators filled with food. Instead of dropping everything, God sometimes asks us to drop some things. But we'll learn a bit more about that next week. So, to help us think about why they did, why they were so quick to follow Jesus, we're going to look at this. Now this is whippy cream. You can put this on cakes, pies, drinks, all sorts of things. And sometimes they make them more special. They remind us, perhaps, how much we like something. So if you were offered a piece of apple pie, you might be a bit hesitant. But then if your apple pie had this on the top, maybe you'd say, oh, yes, please, because it makes you remember that actually you quite like apple pie. And Jesus helped people like Peter, Andrew, James and John remember how much they like God. Jesus was really good at helping people see God's awesomeness. Jesus was also really good at teaching his disciples, like Peter, Andrew, James and John, how to better receive God's awesomeness, how to receive God's light, love and healing. And as the disciples learnt to receive God's awesomeness, they also learnt how to share God's awesomeness with others, which in turn helped those people to remember God's awesomeness. So the same thing is true today for us. As we learn from Jesus, from the Bible stories, how we can better receive God's light, love and healing, then we are also learning how to better share God's light, love and healing. And when we share that, we're helping others to see and know God's awesomeness, just like Jesus did, and a bit like this whippy cream on our cakes, pies and in our hot chocolate. So for an activity today, you might like to go back and think about what you would take if you suddenly had to leave. What things are special to you? You could perhaps take some photos, maybe upload them to the Pulse WhatsApp to share with other people and see how they're similar or different to other people. Maybe your grown-up might let them use their phone if you don't have one yourself, or a standard camera would be fine too. Have a think about what things you would take if you didn't have very long and you couldn't take very many. Or, if you can, just pick one and write an acrostic poem. Now, an acrostic poem is where the letters down the side spell out your word. I would really like to take my family. If I go anywhere, I like to do it with my family, best of all. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm going to write the word family down the left-hand side of my page. Okay? For you, it might be the wrong way round, but I'll go through the letters one by one. So my first letter is the letter F. When I'm with my family, we often have fun. Over Christmas, or when we have days out together, or just spending time in the house, we have lots of fun. So my F is going to say fun times. With my family, we can help each other. We have different skills. If somebody's stuck on something or finding something difficult or needs an extra pair of hands, it's great to have each other around. So we give each other assistance in times of need. So that's going to be my A, assistance in times of need. Now, I've not looked up the spelling, so when you see this, if it's spelt wrongly, that will show you that it really doesn't matter. God doesn't care if we spelt the words correctly or not, so you do not need to worry about spelling for this. We share memories together. We've been together for a long time, and we like to talk about things we've done in the past, things we've enjoyed. So memories is going to be my M, memories of time, of things done together. Then the next letter, so we've got F-A-M, I need an I. So for my I, I'm going to put inclusive. When I go somewhere special or do something fun, I always want to share it with the people I love so they can enjoy it too. So I'm going to just write inclusive. And then L has to be for love, because we love each other. Even if sometimes we might not agree on things, we still always love each other. And then the last one, beginning with a Y. Now that's the tricky one because Y isn't very easy. So you might want to choose a word without a Y in it. Anyway, for family, I'm choosing young. My family help me keep young. As I'm getting older, I can do things with my family that I might not normally do, because the younger people in my family, my two daughters, they want to be doing things that is more suitable maybe for people their age, and I like to join in, so it keeps me young. So that's my acrostic poem. That is family. You could choose the word, if you can't think of anything else, if you wanted to and you wanted a challenge, you could choose the word everything, because the disciples gave up everything to follow Jesus. So you could write the word everything down on your piece of paper. And talking of everything, I think there were 10 times that the word everything was mentioned in my story. I wonder if you agree. So that's my acrostic, which I think I might need to take a photo of to get it the right way round. But good luck with yours. Remember that we don't have to give everything up for Jesus at the moment, but that's what the people in the story did. But we can remember God's awesomeness and tell other people, just like the disciples did, about how awesome God is as we follow Jesus. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. Take care and bye-bye.